Good evening and welcome to Alps Global News. I'm Sarah, and it's Friday, April 11th, 2025. Here are the top stories we're covering this evening. In Malaysia, Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil says the country hopes President Xi Jinping's visit next week will boost bilateral and trade ties with China, reinforcing regional cooperation. Internationally, markets tumble as a week of tariff shocks from President Trump fuels recession fears worldwide, with major economies scrambling to respond. And in Asia, Vietnam prepares to crack down on transshipped Chinese goods in an attempt to ease tensions with Washington and reduce steep U.S. tariffs. Let's go to Brian now for the full details.
Thanks, Sarah. We start in Malaysia, where Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadzil said Malaysia looks forward to Chinese President Xi Jinping's state visit next week. The visit, he noted, presents an opportunity to strengthen bilateral relations, expand trade, and deepen people-to-people connections. Speaking at the ASEAN-China Media and Think Tank Forum 2025, Fahmi emphasized Malaysia's commitment to neutrality and cooperation as ASEAN chair. He reiterated the nation's principles under the zone of peace, freedom, and neutrality, stressing that despite global challenges, particularly recent U.S. tariff actions, Malaysia remains focused on constructive, rules-based diplomacy. Over to the international stage, a turbulent week of tariff announcements from President Trump has triggered global financial uncertainty. While a temporary 90-day pause was granted to dozens of nations, China was excluded, facing steep new tariffs of 145%. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent claimed over 75 countries are now seeking trade negotiations, but markets remain volatile. The S&P 500 has fallen 15% from its peak, while gold hit record highs and long-term bond yields surged at their fastest pace since 1982. China retaliated by restricting Hollywood film imports, and recession fears are growing. Goldman Sachs now puts the probability of a U.S. recession at 45%. Meanwhile, the European Union paused its own planned counter-tariffs, but warned the U.S. measures could push the bloc into a downturn. In Asia, Vietnam is taking swift action in response to Trump's 46% tariff announcement. The government is preparing a crackdown on Chinese goods falsely labeled as Vietnamese exports and tightening control over sensitive items like semiconductors. Hanoi is seeking to reduce the tariff rate through bilateral negotiations and has proposed new declaration procedures for dual-use technology exports. Vietnam also greenlit Elon Musk's Starlink to operate under favorable conditions and is expected to approve Chinese COMAC aircraft, signaling a delicate balance between its ties with both China and the U.S. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Brian. To recap, Malaysia anticipates a boost in diplomacy with China ahead of Xi's state visit, Trump's tariffs continue to shake global markets, and Vietnam maneuvers strategically to ease tensions with the U.S. while balancing its relationship with China. That's all for this evening's top stories. Stay connected with Alps Global News for more updates and in-depth coverage. Follow us on all platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest developments.